Hi everyone, and a happy new year to you all. I hope you all had a decent holiday time, and if not, then sending my best wishes as I know a thing or two about dodgy Christmas holidays, perhaps more than I might like. Okay, so on the agenda today, I've got my ranged character Red, who has returned to the cap, so I thought I might take the opportunity to take you through where he's at with his gear and build to those of you to whom it might be an interest. He's an artificer, and I plan on keeping it that way. I much prefer that to. I don't like the inquisitive playstyle at all, and I don't like the fact it doesn't bring anything apart from its raw damage to the group. The Arti between the deadly weapon, radiant force field for the tanks, really nice. And then if there's anybody who doesn't use weapon but could use an imbue, like the Warlock for instance, can have greater elemental for another couple of imbue dice. So yeah, I quite like what the Arti brings, and I think I'll be sticking with that in future. Um, what else did it? Oh yes, so we finished our. I think I mentioned that we were doing the myself and a guildmate. We were joining in with the Feywild event. The the only real downer that we had during it, we did the non-hardcore version because neither of us are interested in the hardcore side of things. I just don't like wandering around feeling like I'm treading on eggshells, like at any moment all the hard work could disappear to a lag spike or a mistake. Not for me either. But no, we had a really good do with it. We didn't change anything that we were doing. We were just doing like regular, hamster wheel style leveling on Reaper 1. I wouldn't recommend going too high on the Reaper skulls for that, for harvesting motes for the loot, because those bosses that come out of the loot, especially on the purple mode, can be quite challenging. And if you're doing sort of legendary content, maybe Reaper 6, Reaper 8, then the bosses are every bit as tough as an end boss would be. So you either need to have a very stacked group or just be doing the hamster wheel thing, and that's the optimal for at least for us. We managed to get the butterfly wings and the Feywild horse, which I can show you here. It just gets added to your stable just like any other. I think it's quite nice. It's even got the can we do the spin round here? It's even got the loot look on the back. I wish this silly thing from the Dragon Lord imbue would be removable. I don't know why that has to be still there. It's spoiling it a bit, but he doesn't look too bad. He's an Eladrin this time around. Being as he's named Red Ruin, I went with, oops, I went with red eyes and sort of fiery red hair. I think I've done a pretty decent job with that. So that's the horse. The butterfly wings, just like the other cosmetic feats, like from the Dragon Year of the Dragon thing, go into that special thing here. So some are caught Fey wings, but you do have to pick them up again at the moment from the same person you got them from in the hut in the harbour. They disappear on a TR, but don't worry, you can just go and talk to the person and you get them straight back. I'll just give you a quick look at those. I think they look pretty spectacular, to be honest. I'll follow it with my usual, it's not really my thing, but especially when coupled with the horse, I think you might agree they've done a decent job, haven't they, the developers? And just for once, they've given the best wings to the people doing the non-hardcore. I think the hardcore ones are like a wintry blue one, aren't they? Which I don't think is, and I wouldn't go with red either. Actually, there is a case to be made for saying they don't look too bad on him. And my guildmate particularly likes the fact they flap when you activate any kind of jumping motion there. Look, can flap the wings to order. Okay, enough of that. It really isn't my scene, but I do acknowledge that they've done a nice job there. He has a red steed somewhere. Where is it? There. So yeah, we had a decent time with the Fey event, particularly because we were. Oh, I'll get it right in a minute. Particularly because we were just sort of doing it in passing. It didn't feel like farming or anything, and it was a bit of a fun, side game in amongst, doing something we'd have been doing anyway and something we'd been used to doing for like years. So it just added a bit of freshness. The one thing I will say, which really could have done with addressing, would have been the fact that the moats themselves are targetable. There doesn't seem to be any reason for that to me, and it just causes it's just a pain because you're trying to eliminate the nasty things that are coming out of there, and far too often we found ourselves targeting the moat instead. So that's my one gripe on what was an otherwise fun time. While we are on the subject of gripes, what have I got? Oh yes, jeweler toolkit. I just can't understand why we've got all the other toolkits, the sentient kit, the Victranium peaks, all the other stuff. It's reasonably priced in terms of DDO points. I think it's 200 and odd points for 10, which, during the course of normal gameplay, you're going to earn that from favour, aren't you? But the jeweler kits, for some reason, which are increasingly used at the cap for even for removing the sun and moon augments as well now, like in the bottom of there. It's over 1,000, isn't it? Unless they're on sale. I actually picked up 20 from with the last of my DDO points from a recent 40% sale for the turn of the year. But it's almost like they're taxing you for playing at the cap. As it is, I regularly just go over one augment with another. Don't even keep the old one to save a kit. Even if the old one was half decent or could have been used by somebody else, I just can't justify using a kit most of the time. So yeah, that is a bit of a gripe. What else have I got here? Yes, run speed. Now, I'd never really paid that much attention to run speed in general, maybe until I came to use the Tabaxi Trailblazer. That was insanely fun for leveling. I think run speed tends to be prioritized when leveling, particularly sprint boost, and then maybe people swap things around when they get to the cap if they're planning on playing a bit at the cap. But perhaps for the first time for me, on this build of reds is not a pure artificer. We've got 16 Arti because the common consensus is, and I would probably agree with that, beyond there you're not getting too much out of the extra levels. 16 gives us the two important spells that we need, the deadly weapon and the reconstruct, and we don't really get too much out of the last two cores that we would get for 18 and 20. So missing them isn't too big of a deal, and it also means we save a few points in the battle engineer tree, which can be invested productively elsewhere. So 16 Arti, I took 3 excuse me, I took 3 Dragon Lord because I'd been struggling a bit with the electric imbue, the standard electric imbue, to get that into his gear. So I just thought, why don't we put 3 Dragon Lord and steal their imbue? It's all right, to be honest, as a choice. We've got a nice acid imbue, scaling off ranged power, so we don't need to gear for it. We've got a bit more double shot there, but I think the thing to have done, which the more seasoned ranged players at the cap are doing, would have been to have 3 fighter and take the shattering shot, because that works on all the shots in the Arti clip. So I think that would have been the better play. But the one barbarian, I'm telling you, I'm not regretting it, particularly because my tendency is to play either alone or with 1 or 2 other people, and often without a tank. So the ability to run faster than the chasing opponents can, especially if it happens to be a red boss that we can't stop by any means other than just killing it outright, is something that I am beginning to really treasure. So between the 10% barbarian run speed and the 10% boost from tactical mobility there in Battle Engineer, which incidentally has been reduced in cost from 2 to 1 point recently, that's standing us in good stead survivability wise. So yeah, for the first time at the cap at least, I deliberately went for high run speed, and for my situation at least, I found it to be quite beneficial. Probably more so than what I've lost from the other, the other Arti cores and that kind of thing. While we're here, I'll just take a quick moment to go over the crux of Red's build. So we've got all the tier 5 in Battle Engineer standard stuff here. Well, the whole thing is standard stuff, to be honest. It's just what your taste is. Prioritizing double shot, so we've got 6 double shot from there's 3 there and 3 there, and the 6 double shot from Eladrin. I obviously only have a handful of racial points, so I've had to pay from my proper pool of points for most of these, but fair enough. We've got our trance from Harper, know the angles, and intelligence to hit. Intelligence to damage comes from the spell. Can I just get rid of that? It comes from insightful damage, the spell that they get. Vistani for deflect missile, more double shot, and some defenses. Plus undead as a favoured enemy is not bad. This one, negative energy absorption, would have been pretty useless in the days when Death Ward just covered everything, but now I guess 25% neg absorb will actually have significantly more use now that Death Ward is just like a 50% reduction. I think should be more helpful. Inquisitive, double shot in the second core, another imbue dice, and this nice AoE on a very short cooldown. So we've actually got 3 nasty AoEs now, which is, again, is pretty useful because I tend to do more questing than raiding at the cap. If we were raiding, we would probably knock the investment in here down to 6 and go for that thing, as I mentioned, that shatter defenses from the Kensai tree fighter for another nasty single target. So that's the heroic stuff. The epic, very standard again for ranged. Shiradi is the main destiny because that's just what you do with ranged, with Hunt's End and nice epic moment. We've got Fate Singer just for the pluck of the string, basically. It's that good. It works on all 3 shots in the clip, just makes a real mess. It can delete many nasty single targets on its own. And there's a nice synergy with Stay Loud from Shiradi. So we've got boosting sonic damage vulnerability, and then we've got sonic damage in here. So that's quite nice. And then Shadow Dancer gets us as many as 8 sneak attack dice, I think. And immunity to magic missiles. We've got a DDO in there. We've got our evasion, which we otherwise wouldn't have had, being predominantly Arti. So happy times there too. Unfortunately, the Bring Darkness no longer offers us chance to get sneak attack vulnerability onto targets, according to the forum speak. But hey ho. Quick look at the gear. I wanted to show you this because it's only the second character I've started to put new like Mithdrana and Lamordia stuff on, and I think we have a nice little setup here. Got some nice treasures, predominantly Mithdrana stuff, I think. So we've got Mithdrana goggles, cloak, a lovely hat here, although the Crown of Summer giving it would be better for a melee and better for a non-mechanical. We have the 2 feats to be healed by repair, reconstruct. So having extra positive healing amp is not amazingly helpful. We will still be the target of positive healing from others, of course, so I have included that in the build, but it's not as nice as it would be if it had repair. Super item that from the threats old and new raid. Relentless Fury, Profane Double Shot, Insightful Sneak Attack damage, just lovely. Plus I've put Insightful Intelligence on there. There is a story behind that one. Eric, if you're listening, matey, I'm truly sorry. I dragged one of my poor guildmates, it was just the 2 of us, through the threats raid on normal. And we barely made it. Well, I say we barely made it. We both died a handful of times, but we managed to get through it, which was pretty decent, I think, for just the 2 of us. And I was able to upgrade this item with the Insightful Intelligence you can see there. That is quite a gripe, actually, especially considering how tough the raid is to short man. Why can't we have the crafting station, like in other raids, where you can just go and access it off to the side without getting involved in the raid side of things? Why does the raid, in this case, have to be completed to enable you to go and use the crafting thing? I don't get that, and I'm not a fan of it. I quite like the other setups, like in the Den of Vipers, where you can just go off into a side room without ever doing anything in the raid, do your crafting, and then you're on your way. That's much nicer, in my opinion, at least. Another Mithdrana item with an amazing curse on there for us, Major Archery, so I guess that one's there to stay. Strength is useless, but Insightful and Quality Seeker, not terrible. That's a nice one from Lamordia. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh, a nice one for constructy types. So I took that and put some nice things on it. Standard ring, dino ring. I plan in the fullness of time, if I can get myself into some of those relentless raids, the new Lamordia raid, to replace that with the Ring of Binding, which looks awesome, giving paralysis. Now that coupled with our 3 AoE attacks, it's got quite a high paralyzing chance as well. Now if it has no cooldown and it works on all the things that you hit, I mean, that could be amazing. Has any of you been lucky enough to find one of those? I'd be interested to know, is it just one target out of the AoE that it would work on, or would it work on everything? If it works on everything, that really is something that I need to be trying to search out. Speaking of searching out, I want to highlight this one. This comes from the new free-to-play quest in Jurassico, the God, it's so good I can't even remember what the quest is called. The last one they released, is it called Body and Mind, I think? And just look at the good stuff that's on here. Insightful Deception, so more sneak attack more sneak attack damage. It's duplicated on in our case on there anyway, but most builds would struggle to find an item giving this, so that's great. Improved deception is a way around the problem with the bring darkness in Shadow Dancer not giving sneak attack chances. This is a way to make enemies vulnerable to sneak attacks, so that is highly sought after as well on melee and ranged. And the enhanced blood rage, although it would be better on a melee, still the con bonus and the damage bonus is helping us big time. So that's a lovely item, and everybody can go and look for that one because it's in the free-to-play quest. So get hunting if you don't have that. I absolutely rate that one. Standard boots, everybody's talking about these or using them, I think, since the black dragon bolt at the cap became such an issue, and also the fire damage, the ticking fire damage in stuff like Threats Old and New. Just such a nice one to have to not take such a kicking, to give yourself a chance to heal or be healed out of elemental damage. Nice little series of rings found in the Mithdrana wilderness chests. There is one for each type of each stat, so I took the liberty of including this for our main stat, intelligence. The combat mastery is nice on there because it stacks with our trance. It shouldn't do, because the trance is an insight bonus to tactical DCs, but we do get an extra bonus to our trance from equipping the ring, so that's nice to know. And the quality sneak attack damage is there too, so not a bad item. Our old dino braces for the reconstruct and repair lore, and finished out with an armor from Mithdrana. As you can see, the armors in Myth, if you don't have the pack, they're moving away from the traditional fortification, healing amp, all that kind of stuff, towards more offensive stats, most of them anyway. So need to remember to include the fort and heal amp and that on your gear somewhere, usually in the form of augments. My weaponry I'm particularly pleased with. This is his old Dino Rune Arm, which is giving sneak attack dice and a stacking acid damage, and you can see also on there the gold scale, the fortification, so that's taking care of the fort side of things too for us. And this is particularly nice. This comes from the Den of Vipers raid, so fair play to me for joining in with that on occasion. I did actually get this to drop for him. I was very lucky. It's got the nice electric damage over time, but also we've got on there, we've got ooze. I know that's a bit of a controversial choice, especially for people going in raids. I know it's not popular, but to us in our small groups, I have seen the ooze tanking Doom Reapers long enough for us to be able to finish them off. So for that on its own, it's a solid investment for one of our weapons. Add to that the fact you have a debuff going on any nasty boss targets or the aforementioned Doom Reaper. We're taking 10 PRR and MRR off when we hit them. It's I think it's a solid investment, but I just worry that I probably won't be welcome in any raids at the end game with that. So I think what I would have to do is swap to a substandard weapon that doesn't have that on, like a backup or something. So that's it. That's the build and the gear. It's been doing really nicely. Basic tactic: knock a pack down with the Thundershock weapon knockdown, follow up with the other AoEs. If there's a particularly nasty thing comes along, hit it with the pluck the string or the hunt's end, and hopefully nothing's surviving in the dawn's early light. At least that's my basic strategy. What else have we got on here? We mentioned dual kits. Oh yes, have any of you ever butchered a TR like I did recently? I was doing an iconic character and I'd forgotten that I was on an iconic, because I don't do them too often. And by mistake, I did an epic TR, you know, thinking to go and do straight away the heroic one afterwards. And I just caught myself at the end. I thought, no, no, you've made a mistake here. So luckily, I didn't put any old garbage in the character, in the details as I built it back up, because normally you would, wouldn't you? If you were doing an epic and then straight away a heroic, you wouldn't care what you put in, and we've done that so many times. I've had a guildmate get caught out like that on an iconic character with an ultimately useless character stuck there having to do another epic life. So I just wondered if I was fairly much on my own in this, or if it's befallen some of you lot as well in the days gone by. What else have I got here? Yes, no love for quivers, I've got noted. I think I've seen a recent forum post on this, but I've noted it myself, being as I have always had this one ranged character. The last one I think they did is that one, the Purifying Quiver. I switched between the two, between the Epic Quiver of Alacrity and this Purifying one. Unfortunately, it won't let me, it just brings up a window, it won't let me hot swap between the two, which is a bit of a shame, because this one is the one I always would wear in a group for the stealth strike. It has got other nice things as well, the speed, if you don't have it from anywhere else. I do happen to have it on this ring, Topaz of Swiftness, and also the insightful sneak attack bonus, but we've discussed we've already got that. So the only thing I'm getting is just the stealth strike on there. So when I'm going it alone, I prefer to have the blunt ammunition for stuff like skeletons, to try and stop me getting yellow numbers against them. But yes, more quivers, developers, please. Why so much quiver hate? Oh yeah, a word. I mentioned the speed, but another thing that's helped to keep me out of the grave so often this life, for the first time, I've experimented with the dark gift, the Mist Walker, and I can honestly say it's been very positive experience. It's, well, I can show you, can't I? Can I show you without falling off the ship? Let's try. There we go. So just the wings, like any other, quite similar to the Warlock's Misty Step, I guess. But a really nice option for anybody who's not been able to, for whatever reason, get, you know, wings as a feat or a class thing or anything like that. The only slight downside, and it is quite slight, about every 5 or 10% of the time you get an exhaustion thing afterwards, like 6 seconds of slow down, but it only lasts a short time, and it still does the jump anyway. So if you were trying to clear a gap or something, you would still go across it. So well worth a pickup on a squishy character like this, that's not going to be benefiting too much from the defect warding style form of pain thing that is the other really good option I think most would acknowledge from the dark gifts from Lamordia. Actually, I had a quick look where I was at with the PRR and MRR, and if I'd have taken the upgraded form of pain, as you can see, I'm quite close to the MRR cap, so quite a bit of it would have been wasted anyway, so that did factor into my thinking. But I have no complaint about this thing at all. It's been good, and I would take it again on this character. Anything else? No, I don't think so. So today, you might remember I showed you the two fish on my caster druid recently. The, what is it, fish sticks, I think. They're caster sticks, aren't they, essentially? And I might have mentioned in passing that there are also a couple of fish to be had in the Too Many Cooks quest. They're technically long swords, but aesthetically they look pretty good. There's one fiery one and one almost luminous white, like the freezing one. And I just every now and again, on the off chance that I might find one to cosmetic for my barbarian fools, because the idea of running around and slapping people with a flaming fish, I don't know. There must be something weird there. So every now and again I go and do a run through here just in case, through the Too Many Cooks quest, as it's called. And I just thought I'd like to show it because it's not part of any expansion or anything, so it might be something that that some of you haven't seen, and maybe as well to just I think I'm going over old ground here with the play style of this particular character, but just to show you some of the basic things I do to try and keep him above, keep him out of the grave. So, basic buffs. I do like the fact that the standard clickables, like this should be 5 minutes, are almost doubled in duration on an Arti. We would have a full 10 minutes there if we were pure Arti. Okay, so clickables done. And one thing I do tend to do before I trigger my battle trans, I've got this second weapon loaded with intelligence filigree, so we can go from 75 intelligence there to 88, hit the trans, and then back. And that also helps our tactics, of course. Adding in the Reaper bonuses, we're on a quite respectable 109 for the Thundershock knockdown. Bearing in mind, I guess that gets 3 chances on any target, it's quite likely to have good results in our efforts to CC the invading hordes.
Speak with your sous chef to begin the competition.
I did try to record this earlier today, and it was a disaster. The sound for some reason was all gravelly. I had to do it again, but I remember that I really got killed quite badly in here. So let's try not to have a repeat of that.
Attacking your sous chef instead. Stop them before they do any more damage.
The other thing I want to do is make use of these tasty boosts that we've got. It's pointless having all the things like the epic moment that I've got running here at the moment, and the shield, the big single target shots, if all I ever do is just save them for a rainy day or whatever.
You found the location of the first rival. Time for one kind of cooking you can.
That's another nice element. Did you see that there? He was stopped in his tracks. This pluck of a string, I think it tells you there, critical hits cause the target to be stunned for 2 seconds, no save. So it's great for just stalling the advance of something. That's the Thundershock weapon doing a good job at stalling the advance too. Try as much as I can not to go flying in there and expose myself to all the fire and all the... Got another boost coming here. Oh crud, that was awful. You can see the nice run speed we have here. I have tried in the past to park myself up on top of some of the thing, you know, like here, but he does jump up. They've obviously got that angle covered, the developers. But speed-wise, you can't fault it, can you? We've got this under control. As long as I don't do anything stupid, we're always going to win this.
The chef of Kitchen 2 and claimed her dishes as your own. Now to find the other two. Then repeat the process.
I wish this weapon attachment could be done on the run. I have to stop every time I want to reapply it, and I have to keep reapplying it because I swap the weapons to activate the trans. So that's a bit of a ball ache. Another ball ache, as if I needed another one, is I keep going in here when I've absolutely no need to. That's an optional. No need to go in there. I should have gone back, shouldn't I? Okay, come on, let's assume, oh my god. Let's assume that there could be, I think that's a pretty good assumption now. Assuming that there could be some danger lurking behind every single door. Right, come on. Yeah. That looks like a vengeance, and it's just exploded. Okay. Let's go from as extreme a range as we can. Now, I think there is a shrine coming round here. But we do have some other things to take care of first.
This large tower, centrally located between the kitchens, is where the competition judges await. You'll need to return here later, when your meal is complete.
Okay. Lovely. Nice little ooze there. I tell you what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and clear these ogres out from the front of this area, because we're going to come back in this area. Well, if we live that long, we are going to reappear there, I should have said. Yep, happy days. Let's take the shrine. Brian, this one's for you, matey. There's no reason why not. I have far too much tendency to try and economize the boosts and make the job much harder than it otherwise should have been. That's one reason we failed. We were trying to two-man the new raid, the Relentless, which I'm pretty sure is very possible, especially on normal, which we were doing, but we couldn't find the shrine. So I ran out of boost, and in the end we just ran out of will to live. Uh-oh. Okay, that'll do. Protect me, Uzi. I think we've got another group coming down here. In fact, I know we have. But I didn't know I had two already in my face that I couldn't see.
immediately spring to the attack.
I think everything that little pause there, everything I tried to press was on cooldown. Ooze has done a stellar job for us there, blocking up the doorway. You can actually heal the ooze. I think the ooze did attract the attention of that one as well. That was good.
Claimed their dish as your piece of the action. Now to fight the final chef.
I think there's a little battle here between two lots of opponents. So if we just hide here, and then we can sort of help finish him off at the end. Another group down here. No, but for sure they're going to do their usual trick of coming flying out of the door again.
As you enter kitchen 4, the troll cook yells out in anger. His underlips muttering.
Now, if we could get another little ooze here, that would be awesome. Are you coming out? Oh, was he attacking an ooze? Yes, he was. I think there's only... Yeah, did you see there the exhaustion? I triggered the run thing and it did activate, but we did get exhausted for it. Nice one. Okay. So there is a door out of here, isn't there? There. So had we not taken out those ogres, they would have set upon us in this area. So I think it's a good idea to try and do that beforehand. And then as far as I know, there's no end fight. We just go up the stairs and it's job done. Which is pretty well fair enough, because there are, well, 4 chefs. So I guess 4 effective end bosses in this, aren't there? So if there's any justice up there at the top, we'll be greeted with by a chest with either a fried or a frozen fish in. What has my DDO world come to if I'm running daily quests on the quest for a cosmetic? Honestly, I don't think we found anything this time, no. And I wouldn't recommend doing any re-rolling for those if you are on the lookout for them, because it was a bit of a sore subject, I think, with the player base. All of those fish things are classed, I think, as rare drops, but it wasn't really publicized as such. So there were people re-rolling and not really getting anywhere, which I suppose was good business from the game's point of view, but not really ethical, shall we say. Okay, I think that's about all I had to show you for today. So, hope that was okay. Happy questing to everyone, and yeah, Happy New Year. I will speak to you next time. Take care.